Viewers all over the world, imagine working hard, giving your best, yet every step forward feels heavier than the last. Doors close unexpectedly, opportunities vanish, and progress seems to stall for no reason. What if I told you this isn't just bad luck? Some forces are at work behind the scenes, silently blocking your growth without you ever noticing. In this video, I'll reveal exactly how witches interfere with your progress silently, the hidden signs they leave in your life, and what you can do to protect yourself from their invisible attacks. By the end, you'll be equipped to recognize these subtle sabotages and reclaim the success that's rightfully yours. Stay with me as we uncover the truth, only here on Exposing Witchcraft TV. The subtle ways witches block your progress. One of the primary ways witches interfere with progress is through invisible energy manipulation. Unlike overt attacks that are noticeable, these actions are subtle, like shifting energy patterns around your life to create delays, confusion, and unexpected obstacles. It's almost like trying to run on a treadmill that keeps speeding up and slowing down without warning. Your effort remains the same, but your forward movement is constantly disrupted. Witches often target your emotional and mental state first. By planting seeds of doubt, fear, or impatience, they make you question your abilities. When your confidence wavers, decisions become hesitant, and opportunities pass you by. These manipulations are so subtle that you might blame yourself, never suspecting an external force is at work. Silent interference can also show up as repeated failures or setbacks in important areas of life. For instance, you may notice sudden project cancellations, lost deals, or miscommunications at crucial moments. While each event on its own may seem ordinary, the pattern forms a web of delays designed to prevent your progress from gaining momentum. Another tactic is the disruption of relationships and alliances. Witches understand that the right connections can accelerate your success, so they quietly influence conflicts, misunderstandings, or misalignment with key people in your life. These disruptions may appear as coincidences, but their purpose is to isolate you from the support network you need to move forward. Health and energy interference is another subtle weapon. Witches can manipulate your vitality, causing fatigue, insomnia, or unexplained ailments just when you need peak performance. When your body and mind are weakened, even the simplest tasks become challenging, slowing your progress without any obvious external cause. Sometimes, witches interfere through financial or material obstacles. This can manifest as unexpected expenses, failed investments, or blocked promotions. These are often orchestrated to create frustration and self-doubt, making you question your skills or worthiness, which feeds into their larger plan of stalling your growth silently. Spiritual confusion and blockage is also a common method. Witches can cloud your intuition or mislead your spiritual guidance, causing you to make decisions that appear logical, but actually slow your progress. Over time, this makes you feel stuck in cycles of repeating mistakes, all while remaining unaware of the external spiritual influence causing it. Finally, witches often use subtle distractions and temptations to keep you away from your goals. These are not dramatic temptations, but small diversions, like focusing on trivial matters, entertaining doubt-filled thoughts, or pursuing minor gains instead of your main objectives. Over time, these distractions accumulate, pulling your attention away from your true path. One viewer from Norway shared with me that despite landing several high-paying projects, each contract mysteriously fell through at the last moment. They couldn't explain why. Everything seemed perfect on paper, but every deal collapsed unexpectedly. After spiritual cleansing and protective rituals, they noticed that contracts started going through without disruption, showing how subtle interference had been at work. Another one from Denmark shared that they were consistently passed over for promotions at work. Every time they seemed on the verge of advancement, minor conflicts or office politics created obstacles. After identifying and addressing spiritual interference in their life, they finally received the promotion they had been patiently waiting for years. Identifying hidden patterns of sabotage. Witches rarely attack all areas of your life at once. Instead, they create patterns of subtle interference that go unnoticed for months or even years. These patterns often appear as recurring issues in one aspect of life: work, relationships, finances, or health. By studying these patterns, you can begin to recognize the invisible hand guiding events against you. One common pattern is timing disruption. Opportunities that should align perfectly often get delayed or diverted. For instance, a business proposal may face last-minute technical issues, or a personal project may suddenly require unexpected revisions. While these may seem coincidental, witches can manipulate circumstances to ensure your timing never aligns with success. Another hidden tactic is emotional entrapment. Witches feed off your frustration, stress, and confusion. By orchestrating situations that trigger anger, fear, or self-doubt, they keep your mental state reactive rather than proactive. Over time, this not only slows progress, but also diminishes your energy for long-term goals. Manipulation through other people is also common. Witches often work indirectly, influencing friends, colleagues, or family members to act in ways that subtly undermine your growth. This could be a friend forgetting to support you, a co-worker sowing doubt, or a partner unintentionally derailing plan. Because it's mediated through others, it feels like life happening rather than a deliberate attack. Financial or resource stagnation is another hallmark of subtle sabotage. You may find that funding, investments, or even gifts you rely on are consistently delayed or unavailable. Each small setback seems logical in isolation, but together, they form a wall that slowly blocks your path to success. Witches also use psychological confusion. They obscure clarity, cloud your decision-making, and introduce doubts at critical moments. You might second-guess important decisions, miss opportunities, or choose paths that lead nowhere. These manipulations are silent but incredibly effective at keeping you trapped in cycles of hesitation. Environmental disruption is less obvious but equally potent. Witches can manipulate circumstances around you, like accidents, power failures, or even lost items, to create constant friction in daily life. These small disruptions accumulate, draining your focus and momentum over time. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward regaining control. Once you identify recurring obstacles that appear in a coordinated way, you can begin to apply spiritual and practical measures to break the cycle. Awareness itself weakens the silent grip that witches use to interfere with progress. A follower recounted that every time they tried to launch an online business, their website would crash, payment systems would fail, or supplier delays would occur. After realizing this was a recurring pattern and seeking spiritual intervention, these obstacles began to resolve, and their business finally took off. Another person noticed that their closest allies suddenly acted distant or forgetful during key moments, consistently delaying their personal projects. Once they applied protective measures and cleansed negative influences around them, relationships returned to normal, and their goals moved forward without constant interference. How witches use energy to stall your growth. Witches often work with subtle energy manipulation, which most people cannot see or feel consciously. This energy is targeted to your aura, chakras, or life force, gradually creating blockages that slow your progress. The impact is cumulative, so at first it may appear as minor setbacks, but over time, these invisible barriers can drastically limit your achievements. Energy drains are a common tactic. You might notice feeling exhausted after certain encounters, meetings, or even moments in your daily routine. These drains are often orchestrated by witches to weaken your drive, making you less productive, less focused, and more susceptible to delays in your life. Witches can also create confusion and chaos in your mind by sending conflicting thoughts or impulses. You might feel torn between choices, procrastinate more than usual, or struggle to complete important tasks. The more indecision they instill, the longer your progress is stalled, or without obvious signs of interference. Subtle emotional manipulation is another energy-based strategy. By influencing your feelings, witches can make you overly sensitive, anxious, or doubtful. These emotional states prevent you from making bold moves, networking effectively, or pursuing opportunities, which keeps you in a cycle of stagnation. Witches also target spiritual energy. This might manifest as a weakened intuition, spiritual confusion, or disconnection from your protective practices. When your spiritual energy is blocked, it's easier for obstacles to manifest and for unseen interference to go unnoticed, allowing stagnation to persist unnoticed. Creating invisible delays is another method. Witches can manipulate circumstances so that your actions yield minimal results. Projects may take longer than expected, messages may get delayed, or opportunities may fall through. This type of interference is designed to frustrate you and make you feel powerless, eroding motivation over time. Sometimes, witches influence the flow of luck or timing around you. You might find yourself just missing a train, arriving late to meetings, or meeting the right people at the wrong time. These are not coincidences. Subtle energy manipulation can disrupt timing to stall your progress without direct confrontation. Understanding these energy patterns is crucial. By recognizing where your energy is being drained, blocked, or misdirected, you can take measures to protect yourself through spiritual cleansing, protective rituals, or grounding techniques, which drastically reduces the silent influence of witches in your life. A viewer shared that every time they tried to complete a personal project, they would inexplicably feel exhausted or mentally foggy. After seeking spiritual protection and clearing negative energy around their workspace, they noticed a sudden increase in focus and efficiency, finally allowing their project to move forward. Another person experienced repeated miscommunications and failed collaborations in their career. After applying protective rituals and strengthening their spiritual energy, the miscommunication ceased and professional opportunities started aligning naturally, showing how energy interference had been silently blocking progress. How witches use relationships to stall your success. Witches often interfere with your progress through manipulation of relationships. They understand that your network, friends, family, colleagues, or mentors can accelerate your growth. By subtly influencing these connections, they create misunderstandings, conflicts, or emotional distance that hinder your ability to move forward effectively. Sowing discord is a common tactic. Witches can plant seeds of jealousy, resentment, or doubt in the hearts of people around you. This can cause friends to act unsupportive, colleagues to withhold help, or family members to inadvertently discourage your ambitions. These disruptions may seem like normal human behavior, but their cumulative effect blocks your progress. Another strategy is indirect sabotage through influence. Witches may not attack you directly, but instead manipulate others to create obstacles. For example, a trusted ally may forget commitments, offer poor advice, or unintentionally mislead you, causing you to lose opportunities that would have propelled your growth. Isolation is also a key method. By creating subtle rifts in your social life, witches make you feel unsupported or alone. This emotional isolation drains your motivation, reduces your confidence, and makes it easier for other forms of interference to succeed. When your support system is weakened, progress naturally slows down. Witches can also exploit vulnerability in your relationships. They notice where tensions already exist, past conflicts, insecurities, or unspoken fears, and amplify them. This may create repeated arguments, miscommunication, or hesitation to trust others, keeping you emotionally tied up and distracted from your goals. Distracting social entanglements are another tactic. You may find yourself spending excessive time resolving conflicts, calming misunderstandings, or managing crises in relationships, which diverts your attention from important projects. These diversions seem harmless at first, but accumulate to create significant delays. Influence through envy and competition is common as well. Witches can manipulate others to compete unnecessarily or create jealousy around your success. This competition may appear organic, but it is designed to undermine collaboration, making it harder to achieve meaningful progress. Recognizing relational interference is critical. Once you identify repeated patterns of misunderstanding, conflict, or betrayal that appear unusual or persistent, you can take protective measures, such as setting boundaries, seeking spiritual guidance, or strengthening personal energy to maintain supportive connections and continue moving forward. A viewer from Africa shared that they repeatedly experienced sudden conflicts with close colleagues right when they were about to pitch important projects. After learning that negative spiritual interference was at play, they applied protective rituals and focused on clear, honest communication. Soon, relationships stabilized and opportunities began to flow again. Another follower from West Africa noticed that friends and family would unconsciously discourage them whenever they tried to start new ventures, leaving them feeling unsupported and stuck. After applying energy protection techniques and spiritual clearing, those relationships returned normal, allowing the follower to pursue goals without repeated relational obstacles. How witches sabotage your career and finances. Witches often target your career and financial growth, knowing that these areas are vital to overall progress. They create subtle obstacles that prevent promotions, business deals, or financial opportunities from materializing. These sabotages are rarely obvious, making it seem like repeated bad luck or personal failure. Opportunities vanish unexpectedly. You may be in line for a promotion, a raise, or an important contract, only for it to fall through without clear reason. Witches manipulate circumstances to delay or divert these opportunities, ensuring that your upward trajectory is slowed. Another tactic is disrupting financial stability. Witches can cause sudden, unexplained expenses, misplacements of funds, or failed investments. These small financial shocks drain resources over time, making it harder to save, invest, or pursue your goals, all while keeping their interference invisible. Career setbacks through others are common. Witches may influence colleagues, bosses, or business partners to act in ways that indirectly harm your progress, like giving incorrect information, forgetting commitments, or creating office politics that leave you disadvantaged. These events appear ordinary, but are strategically timed. Delays in recognition are another subtle sabotage method. Even when your work is excellent, witches can obscure the timing of acknowledgement or reward, making your efforts feel unnoticed or unappreciated. Over time, this erodes motivation, causing you to doubt your capabilities. Witches may also create repeated failures in business or projects. Launches may flop unexpectedly, negotiations may stall, or results may fall below expectations. While each incident seems isolated, together they form a pattern of silent sabotage designed to frustrate you and slow your growth. Disrupting focus and decision-making is often part of financial interference. By clouding your judgment with doubt, confusion, or minor setbacks, witches ensure that your choices are less effective, increasing the likelihood of errors in career or money matters. The key to overcoming this interference is awareness and spiritual protection. Recognizing recurring patterns of financial or career obstacles allows you to apply protective measures, clear energy blocks, and regain momentum in your life, neutralizing the silent influence that witches use to stall your progress. A follower from Kenya shared that despite their hard work, they were consistently overlooked for promotions. Projects would appear successful on paper, but would never yield recognition or reward. After applying spiritual protective practices, these patterns ended, and they finally received the promotion they had been waiting for. I remember another viewer from Zimbabwe explained that their online business repeatedly faced unexplained technical issues, payment failures, and supplier delays at critical moments. Once they applied cleansing and protective rituals, the obstacles stopped and their business began generating consistent income. How witches target your health and energy. Witches understand that physical and mental energy are essential for progress. By subtly affecting your health, they can slow you down without any obvious attack. You may feel constantly tired, drained, or unmotivated, even when there's no medical reason, making it harder to achieve your goals. Chronic fatigue or low energy is a common tactic. Witches can drain your vitality during key periods when you need focus and strength. Over time, this energy depletion prevents you from sustaining momentum in your personal and professional life. Another method is sleep disruption. You may experience insomnia, restless nights, or vivid negative dreams that leave you drained. Lack of proper rest diminishes your mental clarity, reduces productivity, and leaves you vulnerable to mistakes or missed opportunities. Emotional stress as a tool is also common. Witches can subtly amplify worry, anxiety, or sadness, creating emotional exhaustion. This weakens your ability to think clearly, make strong decisions, and pursue opportunities with confidence. Physical ailments or recurring minor illnesses may also be a sign of spiritual interference. Witches can influence the body in subtle ways to cause headaches, digestive issues, or other small health problems. While not life-threatening, these disruptions accumulate, diverting energy away from achieving success. Mental fog and confusion are frequently used to stall progress. You might find it hard to focus, make decisions, or remember important tasks. This mental interference is often invisible, but highly effective at creating delays in both work and personal projects. Witches also manipulate motivation and drive. Even when goals are clear and within reach, you may feel a sudden loss of interest or energy. This quiet, psychological manipulation is a silent barrier, keeping you from acting when action is most needed. Protecting your health and energy requires spiritual and practical interventions. Regular cleansing, grounding exercises, and energy protection can restore your vitality, strengthen your focus, and prevent witches from silently draining your resources and stalling your progress. Last month, one viewer from Canada shared that no matter how much they rested, they constantly felt drained and mentally foggy, which prevented them from completing important tasks. After applying protective rituals and energy cleansing practices, their energy returned, and they were finally able to accomplish long-delayed goals. There is also another follower who experienced repeated minor health issues right before critical projects or deadlines. Once they implemented spiritual protection and learned to clear negative energy, these issues stopped occurring, allowing them to maintain focus and achieve success without unexplained interruptions. How witches manipulate timing, luck, and circumstances. Witches often interfere by distorting the natural flow of timing in your life. Opportunities may appear at the wrong moment, deadlines may suddenly shift, or events may take longer than expected. While these occurrences seem coincidental, they are strategically orchestrated to stall your progress. Delays in critical moments are a common tactic. For example, a business deal might take longer than planned. A project may face last-minute issues, or an important message may arrive too late. These delays may seem random, but witches manipulate circumstances to ensure your timing is never perfect. Witches also manipulate luck and chance. You might experience repeated near successes, almost winning a contract, narrowly missing a promotion, or just missing an opportunity that seemed within reach. This pattern keeps you trapped in cycles of frustration and missed potential. Environmental disruptions are used to create obstacles without direct confrontation. Accidents, unexpected technical failures, power outages, or even misplacing important items are ways witches subtly influence your external circumstances to slow your momentum. They also work through unexpected interpersonal conflicts at crucial times. Key people may act unreliably, misunderstand instructions, or become unavailable, effectively derailing your plans. While these incidents appear natural, they often align in a way that blocks your forward progress. Subtle distractions are another strategy. Witches can cause you to focus on trivial issues or minor setbacks just as major opportunities arise. Over time, this continuous diversion prevents you from dedicating energy to what truly matters, keeping your life in a state of stagnation. Timing manipulation also affects spiritual alignment. Witches can cloud your intuition or prevent you from acting on signs or guidance at the right time. Missing these divine cues keeps you trapped in repetitive cycles of indecision and delay. By recognizing patterns of misaligned timing, repeated near misses, and constant small disruptions, you can begin to protect yourself. Spiritual practices, energy protection, and conscious awareness of these tactics help neutralize witches' influence, allowing your progress to flow more smoothly. A viewer from Netherlands shared that every time they tried to sign major contracts, something unexpected would always delay the process. Documents went missing, meetings were postponed, or key decision-makers were suddenly unavailable. After applying spiritual protection and clearing energy blocks, opportunities began to align on time, and contracts went through smoothly. Another follower from Kuwait noticed a consistent pattern of bad luck around critical personal and professional events. Flights were delayed, messages didn't arrive, and deadlines were missed. After learning about spiritual interference and taking protective measures, these timing disruptions stopped, allowing them to finally achieve long-awaited goals. Recognizing the signs before it's too late. Awareness is the first step in defending yourself. Witches often rely on your ignorance of their tactics. By recognizing repeated obstacles, unusual patterns, or consistent delays, you can start to see the invisible hand at work in your life before it causes long-term stagnation. Unexplained fatigue or mental blocks are major warning signs. If you feel drained, unfocused, or unable to complete tasks despite your best efforts, it could indicate that subtle spiritual interference is affecting your energy and progress. Patterns of repeated setbacks are another red flag. When obstacles consistently appear in one area of life, career, finances, relationships, or health, that despite careful planning, it's often a sign that external forces are influencing outcomes behind the scenes. Relationship disturbances at critical moments also signal interference. Friends, family, or colleagues acting unpredictably, or sudden conflicts emerging without cause, can indicate that witches are manipulating your social environment to slow your progress. Missed opportunities and near successes are another key sign. Witches manipulate timing and luck to ensure that progress always feels just out of reach, keeping you trapped in cycles of frustration and stagnation. Intuition blockage or spiritual confusion can also indicate hidden attacks. If your instincts or guidance feel clouded, or if you make repeated decisions that don't align with your best interests, it may be a sign that witches are silently interfering. Recognizing these signs allows you to take proactive action. By monitoring patterns, listening to your intuition, and protecting your energy, you can prevent witches from gaining silent control over your life and maintain steady progress toward your goals. Finally, awareness combined with spiritual defense practices, such as energy cleansing, protective rituals, prayer, and grounding, creates a shield that reduces the impact of subtle interference. Consistent vigilance ensures that witches can no longer manipulate your circumstances without your knowledge. There is this one particular viewer from Asia who noticed repeated delays and confusion in launching their business. They started keeping a detailed journal of patterns and events, which revealed consistent interference. After applying protective rituals and energy clearing, the disruptions stopped and their business finally began to succeed. Another follower realized that recurrent conflicts with family and colleagues were affecting their major life decisions. By becoming aware of these patterns and taking spiritual measures to protect themselves, they regained control, avoided unnecessary conflicts, and moved forward without repeated setbacks. The way out: protecting yourself and reclaiming progress. Now that you understand how witches silently interfere with your progress through energy drains, relationship manipulation, timing disruptions, and subtle obstacles, it's time to take action. Awareness alone is powerful, but combining it with practical and spiritual measures will allow you to reclaim your life. Spiritual protection is essential. Daily prayers, protective rituals, and energy-clearing practices create shields around you and your environment. This reduces the influence of witches, blocks negative energy, and strengthens your personal power to move forward unhindered. Cleansing your environment is equally important. Spaces where you work, live, or rest can accumulate negative energy that slows your progress. Smudging with sage, using protective crystals, or spiritually cleansing your home and workplace can remove invisible blocks and restore harmony. Strengthen your personal energy. Grounding exercises, meditation, and mindful energy work enhance focus, clarity, and resilience. A strong personal energy field makes it much harder for witches to influence your life silently, ensuring your decisions and actions align with your goals. Awareness of patterns is a continuous defense. Keep track of recurring obstacles, delays, or disruptions in your life. Journaling, reflection, or consulting spiritual guides can help you recognize signs of interference early, allowing you to act before small blocks turn into major setbacks. Maintain supportive relationships. Witches often manipulate others to interfere with your progress, so cultivating strong, positive, and honest relationships acts as a buffer. Trustworthy allies can provide guidance, encouragement, and protection against unseen sabotage. Act decisively on opportunities. Timing is a tool witches manipulate, so when doors open, step through them confidently. Avoid hesitation caused by doubt or fear, and trust your intuition. This will ensure that subtle interference cannot prevent your progress. Finally, remember that protection, awareness, and consistent spiritual practice are your strongest weapons. By taking proactive steps, you can break free from cycles of delay, frustration, and stagnation. Your progress is your right, and no external force has the power to silently hold you back when you are prepared. A follower shared that after identifying recurring spiritual interference in their career, they began daily protective prayers and energy-clearing rituals at home. Within weeks, obstacles that had persisted for years vanished, and opportunities started aligning smoothly, allowing them to achieve success they had long been waiting for. Another viewer implemented spiritual protection practices, strengthened personal boundaries, and maintained supportive relationships. Over time, recurring delays, conflicts, and frustrations stopped, and they experienced steady progress in both personal and professional goals. By understanding these silent tactics and taking proactive spiritual and practical steps, you can finally reclaim control of your life and progress. Here on Exposing Witchcraft TV, we reveal the hidden forces affecting your destiny and show you how to protect yourself. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and join our community so you never miss the knowledge you need to defend your life from unseen interference.